How about that one? Yeah. Hey everybody, Adam Savage here in my cave, and I am answering some questions about my time on MythBusters right now. And the question I have comes from tested patron Adam Joseph. Adam says, if MythBusters started tomorrow and followed the same episode plan, same myths, how do you think it would be different given 15 plus years of technology advancements? What a great question. So many ways, so many ways it would be different. Let me count some of the ways. One, high-speed cameras. We had a Phantom back in those days. It could film up to 1,000 frames per second at standard definition. And it took, once you got a shot, took about 30 to 45 minutes to get it onto to get it off the camera onto a computer. Yeah. As a point of reference, in the middle of MythBusters, around about 2012 or so, 2011, I purchased a Sony FS700, which at that point was the first consumer-level camera that could shoot HD at 250 frames per second, something that this now does. Yeah, so high-speed shots, I can't even tell you how much of the first years of MythBusters were spent waiting on high-speed. Poor Helene, who was the first high-speed camera op, she just had to sit there and lay like, you're waiting on me, I'm sorry. It was awful. It was awful. So cameras have gotten way faster. High-speed shots are much more ubiquitous than they were. They were such a luxury back then. We had to carefully choose every single one. So that's the biggest difference. That and camera resolution right there. Those are the two biggest differences. Because we started MythBusters, there wasn't 4K TV. Yeah, so the resolution of the show immediately would look much better. And the high speeds would be much more plentiful than they are in the earlier seasons. Also, you'd get a lot more shots from the action. And that reason is because of the GoPro. Before the GoPro, oh, kids, it was so primitive. We were using, hang on a second. So, before the GoPro, everything was shot on handy cams. And we had like 6 or 7 of them. We had to make decisions carefully. But here's the worst part about a camera covering the action of a show like MythBusters is that the older cameras, the older DV cams, these are all digital, but the older tape-driven DV cams, which was what we were shooting the show on, they had this feature where if you bumped them while they were recording, they would stop operating and lose the last 30 seconds of material. So like jostling the cameras was not just like to be avoided, it was a disaster. And so when things like bounced, you put a camera inside something and it would roll, sometimes we wouldn't get that footage. GoPros, like one of the first things about the GoPro that it was its selling point is you could beat on it and it would still be recording. That was, I mean, I can't even tell you, my camera department was just beaming when we got our first GoPros. And then I remember the following season where we ordered like 15 or 18 GoPros when they were like, the GoPro 2 was like the newest thing and this box came and I just remember all of us in the camera room like, oh, super exciting. We also had, so the other thing about cameras is, oh man, it was so primitive. This was like the lifeblood of the MythBusters production. And this is a portable DV cam deck. And you can record to this from a camera. So you'd have to be setting a camera up a lot. Like, it was this whole thing. You'd be looking at it in here. Sometimes you'd have to use this to do the recording. But here's the thing is, if there was stuff on the screen from this, like the time and the date and whether it was playing, that would all be recorded onto the footage itself. Oh, I mean, yeah. This became a problem in Lawn Chair Larry, one of our very first pilot episodes. There's footage in which the data on the screen was recorded right onto the footage and we couldn't remove it. We had this whole set of footage which was unusable. Okay, so high-speed camera, the resolution of the cameras, the cheapness of robust high-speed cameras that can both bounce and also keep recording and all of that stuff. Those are all significant ways in which MythBusters would instantly be visually radically different. Okay, you asked specifically if we were following the same exact lesson plan, as it were. I mean, the other big technological advancement of the past 50 years has been the internet. As Captain America said, super useful. There was no real YouTube for looking for myths. There was no Twitter. There was no Facebook when we started. I think there might have been Facebook, but it was barely there. The acquisition of stories and the doing of research is something that became easier the more ubiquitous the internet got. And in terms of looking for substantive material, we were always looking for new avenues for material, whether it was popular misconceptions, idiomatic phrases, movie physics, which was really fertile, and then just what was coming up on Twitter and now Instagram would have been a sea change in the first few years of MythBusters. What else would have changed? Technological advancements. Those are the... Oh, the other thing that would be different is how much we'd be using a lot more Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Those were, certainly ascending when we were wrapping up MythBusters. And we used them here and there. Dennis Kwan did some custom metering setups for us at one point. But it was far from a piece of our toolkit. But the ubiquity of small, cheap computers means that nowadays, with sensors and stuff that you can buy from robotics, there'd be plenty of things which we paid a lot of money to get done back in the day that would be a lot cheaper and faster now. In fact, I think one of the biggest technological differences is we probably have someone on our crew whose core competence was programming and utilizing the cheap computers, the Arduinos and the Raspberry Pis. Those could have gotten us data in ways and places that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. That is a really lovely, I very much enjoyed the thought experiment of thinking through that question. I like to say the person's name at the end, and I've just forgotten who asked this question. Adam Joseph. Adam Joseph, excellent question. I'm sorry I had to look up your name again. A delightful thought experiment. And I'm sure there are others that I'm not thinking about, but those are the biggest differences. Absolutely. GoPros. GoPros might be one of the most important technological advancements, even more important than high speed. Yeah, they give you that bird's eye view of the world. Yeah, so important. So important. And the internet, so useful. Thank you guys for joining me for this Q&A, and I will continue to answer questions. Tested patrons. If you'd like to find out how to be a tested patron, it's in the comments below. I will see you guys next time. Cheers.